What's up, everybody? This is your boy NYC, New York Chris, and I'm back with another video, y'all. And today is going to be a good video. Today, I'm basically going to be breaking down what can you acquire or what can you gain from staying faithful to the 10% rule. Now, in my last video, I broke down one thing that I do all the time. All the time since I was a kid, ever since I've been working with my father, doing hands-on work with my father, jobs that we've been doing since I was a kid that made me extra money on the side when I needed some money. We used to do a whole lot of home details, carpentry work, handyman work, plumbing, electrical work, and stuff like that, stuff of that kind of nature. My father always owned his own business. He was an entrepreneur when I was younger and stuff like that. So everything that we did, straight cash for the jobs that we done. Everything was hard labor. So he always taught me, like I said in my last video, he always taught me a 10% rule. Anything that I make from any kind of job or any kind of income that I've received, you always save 10% out of everything. So, what I want to teach today is basically what do you gain, or what can you acquire from being faithful to the 10% rule. So a lot of things come in handy, when you are good at saving, when you good at keeping money and not spending it on just unnecessary stuff. You could acquire a lot of things. It's rough in New York City, and New York City is expensive. But if you're smart enough, if you manage your money right, you'll be able to get by with no problem. And if you could survive in New York City with the wages that you get at your job and stuff like that, you can survive anywhere basically. So my last video I broke down how much wages do you get from a minimum wage job. Minimum wage job is $16.50. So I broke down how many hours does a part-time worker make. So on average, a part-time worker usually does 30 to 35 hours a week with the standard 5-day work week. So if you have a 5-day work week, a standard 5-day work week, it'll bring you around, if you, all right, so we're going to start an example on the 30-hour work week. So a 30-hour work week will bring you at $16.50 an hour. It will bring you $495, roughly around $495.50, almost $496. All right, but we're gonna keep it at $495.50. Sorry. So you will make $495.50 a week off of a 30-hour standard work week. Now, if you use the 10% rule every week for a whole year with a 30-hour standard work week, you could acquire just a little over $18,000 a year. So if you would be able to save $18,000 a year, and if you're able to save that kind of money a year with a part-time job, you could be able to afford a whole lot, if you really think about it. So I wanted to set an example out because I had a couple people ask me, like, if you were saving money at a 10% rule, and if you're saving 10% out of your paycheck all the time, what money would you have to survive? So I want to explain that in another video, but first I will want to explain to you what can you buy with $18,000 a year after using the 10% rule. So now if you save your money at the end of the year, you'll be able to save $18,000, a little over $18,000. And I was looking online and I came across a few things. One thing is transportation. You know, I know a lot of people were starting to feel like, you know, New York is so hard and finding parking and to deal with a automobile. Cars are so hard to manage in New York City and this and that. You know, like I could understand because New York City has quite a bit of traffic. You know, the traffic is crazy in New York City. It's hard to find parking. You know, but it's not like that everywhere. You know, so a lot of times in the train stations and buses, they pretty packed. It's uncomfortable, and a lot of times if it's a lot of people in the train and in the buses, and you're not that kind of person to be wanting to, like, you know, crowd up on everyone or jam packed carts and sitting next to people so close and stuff like that. You know, I think about things like that, so that's why I drive all the time. But I thought about, you know, a lot of people might not see that they could save money with a part-time job. So one thing I came across is used cars. You know, if you ever wanted to buy a car and you save that kind of money a year, if you was always taking the train or the bus and stuff like that, you could actually be able to afford a used car at the end of the year with just 10% out of your wages every week for a year straight. So 365 days at the end of the year, you'll be able to afford a used car. Usually, the type of cars that you'll be able to afford is a Toyota, a Honda, you know, a Hyundai, Subarus, Mazdas, Kias. Kias is pretty good cars, and Volkswagens. You know, those kind of cars I've seen online that cost in the range of close to 18,000 or close to 15,000, somewhere around 15 to 18,000. But like I told you, you will still be able to afford a car with saving 10% of your wages every week for a year. Now, to acquire those resources, those places that you can look for cars of that kind of nature, you know, you could go on Carvana, Carfax, CarMax, Auto Trade. You know, Auto Trade, I don't know too much about Auto Trade, but that's one of the places that you could look, as well as True Cars. I don't know too much about True Cars as well, but the first three, Carvana, Carfax, and CarMax, those places, they have cars that are affordable. They have cars that are good mileage, you know, in good condition. You could always hire a mechanic to check out the interior of the car and stuff like that. You know, how good it works and stuff like that. So, you know, things of that nature. Getting around in New York City is not going to be easy, whether it's the train, the bus, or even driving. So me in particular, I'd rather drive. I'd rather go that route rather than just have to, you know, commingle with everyone else in public and stuff like that. So, you know, with your hard work and stuff like that, you know, you deserve to invest in yourself. So investing in a car in New York City, it's not such a bad idea. Another thing, with $18,000, if you think about it, you wouldn't be able to buy a home, but you will be able to put down a good down payment for a home. And, you know, somewhere down the line, if you start to build your credit up and you know, more than like 9 times out of 10, you will be receiving direct deposit. You'll be able to receive direct deposit at your jobs. And with that being, you'll be able to possibly build credit. So, you know, if you want to put a down payment on a house, $18,000 is a good amount of money to be able to put something down on the house, and you see an agent at a bank and put that money inside of a savings account. It's a couple accounts that you could actually put your money in that it'll grow as well, some kind of percentage. But a few accounts that I do know of, when you do want to put a down payment in for a home, is you usually use a savings account or maybe a CD account, a certification of deposit account. I believe that's what they call it, a certificate of deposit account. That's a CD account, and then they have MMA accounts, like money marketing accounts. A lot of times they'll try to offer you a first time home buyers account or individual development account. So those are also good accounts as well. Always go into the bank and have them explain each of the accounts thoroughly to you before you choose one. But I know that when you want to put a down payment in for a home, you put it in one of those accounts and it'll grow some percentage. But working for a year consistently, even if it's part-time, you could still build your credit up good, and you probably be able to qualify for a loan as well. So you could work your way up to actually buying your home, but still putting the down payment is the first step that you would take in making that move possible right there. So that's not such a bad idea either. One of the main things that I do feel confident in when it comes to having money in your savings and wanting to put that money into use, like I said, everything that you do with money that you save, you should invest in yourself. So one thing I was thinking about, if you had just $18,000 in savings, and that you've saved on the side off of using the 10% rule, I'll suggest that you put that $18,000 in a high yield savings account. And annually with most of the high yield savings account, annually you will receive 4% yield in that $18,000 investment that you put in. So if it's 4% out of $18,000, it's roughly $720 extra every year. So at the end of the year, your $18,000 actually grows $720 a year, and that's building interest. And if you really realize what you're doing with that $18,000 sitting in a high yield savings account, that's actually passive income. Because if you have a savings in your home and is just sitting there, it's not going to grow value. But when you put it in a high yield savings account, it's considered passive income, because it changed from $18,000 to $18,720. So imagine that. Now, say if you don't want to touch your money at the end of the year, you don't want to touch your money at the end of the year. You're doing pretty good, living day by day or check by check, and you taking a sacrifice for a good year or 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Because a lot of times people do it in New York City. It's a lot of resources in New York City where you really don't have to spend your money. You really don't have to spend your money if you do it smart, But I want to explain that in another video on how to manage your money. And what do I do to manage my money every day? Every day, every week, every month, quarterly, and yearly. I want to explain that in another video. But these things right here are important because you will always want to you want to invest in yourself. Everybody needs to travel. So a car to me, a car is important for a person, a grown-up to have. If you can't afford a car, it's okay. It's still other sources of transportation, but I'd rather drive a car because then you have your own personal space. You'll be able to have your own peace of mind, and you could get A to B in no time. You might have some trouble in certain areas finding parking, but if it's a will, it's a way. You'll find a way. Especially if you're from New York, you'll be the kind of person to be already used to things that go on anyway, like me. So those 3 things are important right there. I believe that those 3 things that you can acquire in a year from a part-time job is I think, to me, that's pretty cool right there. You know, and that's just with a part-time job. And now imagine if you worked up to 35 hours as a part-time worker. That's extra money right there. That's a little bit over $21,000 a year that you'll be able to save. Now imagine what you could do with that. And even better, now imagine what you could do with a full-time job, which a lot of people would aim for if they are consistently paying bills and you know, they have a family or this or that, you know, like those things you could that'll come in handy. Listen, 40 hours a week, you will acquire at least almost $25,000, almost a little bit over almost $25,000 a year if you save up on the 10% rule. So in that kind of way, when you stick to the 10% rule faithfully, that could really come in handy, and that could save you through all kinds of rough times that you'll go through in life. All kinds of times, like emergencies where you know you like if you was just spending your money paycheck after paycheck and just not even worrying about saving, you really be happy with yourself making that decision of putting 10% of your wages into savings. So, you know, like at the end of the year, you know, I know a lot of people wants to treat themselves as well. Like you want to do something when it's vacation time, because, you know, hard work every day, you know, you deserve a vacation. So, you know, even a vacation is well worth after saving $18,000. You got a nice piece of money to the side, you know, like that you've been saving that whole year, and why not take a vacation? You know, you could go on Expedia.com, and that kind of website right there, you could find you could pretty much travel anywhere with $18,000. And you don't even have to use the whole $18,000. You could literally plan everything on when I take my vacations, or when I take my times off, a little bit time off or whatever, you know, like even if it's not a vacation, like a long vacation, little time off, I plan everything on Expedia. I'll go on Expedia and I'll look at any places that I want to travel to. I could make I could book a flight to any place that I want to go to. On the same website, I could book a reservation to a hotel, somewhere to stay in that area, wherever I'm going, whatever I'm doing. I could go out to eat, look for a restaurant, to book a reservation for a restaurant. You know, excuse me. If I want to do anything, you know, like in that kind of nature, I go on Expedia, or I'll go to like Google Travel, and I'll find everything in that one area. So, you know, saving money, you know, is pretty much needed in this day and age, right? You need to save money, but look at the bright side. When you save 10% out of your wages, even if your check comes up a little short, at the end of the week, you know, you take losses to gain better. You know, like anything that you do in life, you want some good to come out of what you doing, like some good to come out of all the hard work that you putting in. So if you saving 10% will go a long way. So my whole message to y'all is just to stay focused. And really consider on that 10% rule, and make it a lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle to everything that you do. 10% will go a long way, and that'll save you. That's basically the whole message that I want to give to you guys in this video today, because every day that goes by, you never know when it's gonna be an emergency that you're gonna need something, or you'll never know if you need to, look what's going on in Los Angeles. A whole lot of people lost their homes from a fire, like a forest fire, wildfires. They out of they homeless. They don't have no homes. It's over for them, Hopefully they'll get some kind of help somewhere down the line. But everything is burned down. It's a natural disasters happen every day, so you will want to be prepared for that kind of stuff. So saving money is always important. So I hope I got to some of you viewers out there, and you take good note of that. And like I say all the time, every day is not the best day, but always make every day a good day for you, so you could be able to think straight and save. Till next time, everybody, I appreciate all the support. Please like, share, and follow this video. Please share this message right here because it's so important. And until next time, you guys, peace.